Live from the Holy City, Charleston, South Carolina, it is match day as the Charleston Battery welcomes Swope Park Rangers to MUSC Health Stadium for the first time in history. Hey everyone, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth for tonight's USL Championship match. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley, and Derek, the Battery remain undefeated at home. Swope Park, on the other hand, winless on the road and only one win on the season so far. But there's one player in particular that we want to keep our eye on who's been the catalyst for the visitors. It's Felipe Hernandez.
Yeah, Hernandez is another one of these number 10 players that likes to find that little pocket in behind the strikers. As you can see here, when it falls to him, he can score goals, or he can even create goals for his teams. So he's one the home team's going to have to really look for tonight.
He's been one of the mainstays in an ever-changing lineup. 5 goals on the season so far. The 21-year-old has started 12 of the 13 games he's appeared in. But for Mike Anhauser's side, the one that we want to keep our eye on in his 8th season with the Battery is captain Taylor Mueller.
Yeah, and we see him here in the opponent's box, but it's really in his own defence where he does all his work. He's a born leader, you know, he leads by example, he's very competitive and tenacious, and he can play. So he's one tonight that if they have a good game, it's going to lead to good things for the Battery.
Approaching his 200th professional appearance, the man in the mask, the one to keep your eye on. Well, I managed to catch up with head coach Mike Anhauser earlier this week to preview tonight's match.
The big things are resiliency. You know, no matter what happens in a game, you're seeing that these guys don't quit. And we've got players that just dig deep and get it done. And I think that's going to be important, especially if you have some younger guys from Swope, that the heat's going to get to them and the humidity. And hopefully that shows, which it has here at home. We've really done very well in the second half of games, but we don't want to wait. We want to get on them early, and we want to try to put them under pressure.
Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium ahead of tonight's USL Championship match. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Just over an hour since original scheduled kickoff time with some lightning delays. The teams are just making their way out from the locker room. But while we have a second, Derek, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups. We'll start with the visitors. And of course, we mentioned Hernandez in the intro, but other than that, what should we keep our eye on tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think the formation is going to be very important tonight, how they address it now with this very slick surface, having 3 up front, you know, with Harris and Little joining Mbekele get his name right. And then Kuzan obviously playing wide. It'll be interesting. Hernandez is going to be a pivotal player in midfield. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very complicated game tonight. Just tactics are going to really come into the forefront.
And keep your eye on Juan Kazane roaming the midfield tonight. He will be the cog in the middle of the park. Let's take a look at Mike Anhauser's starting 11. Of course, it's Joe Kuzminski who starts between the sticks, listed as a 4 there, Derek, but we could expect them to drop back into a 3-back.
Yeah, I think that, you know, these visuals always sort of throw someone out. I think they'll stick with their 3. I think Angelo Kelly will play further higher up the field. I think they'll have Nico Rittmeyer wide on the left. I think they'll have Kelly wide on the right, and then Piggott Higashi will play more like a 3 up front, just sitting in behind Bourgeois. So again, I think tactics are going to be great. Both teams are going to have to come out and attack tonight because we had a lot of rain. The surface is very slick, and I think it's going to be a very tricky one tonight for defenders.
Swope Park Rangers at the foot of the USL Eastern Conference, and for the Charleston Battery, undefeated at home, like we mentioned, they've got to keep that momentum going though after taking a point from Al Lang Stadium, the top of the table Tampa Bay Rowdies last Saturday.
Yeah, no, here's the thing tonight. I think you've got a very young Swope Park team. And it's really going to be how do they handle this delay. They're probably not used to this kind of delay at this level. You know, there's always rain delays around America, but at this level, you know, how they prepare, you know, they're in a locker room as opposed to walking around. You know, you'd like to think that the Battery players, there's a lot more senior players in that team, that they should handle this type of delay much better. But we'll find out. Sometimes, you know, this youthful enthusiasm that we spoke about of a lot of these teams may be the thing that keeps them in going. So it's going to be an interesting one, as I said, I think. And, you know, we're very lucky that a lot of fans have hung around and stayed around. They've been watching the national team play, and now they'll come out and watch, you know, hopefully a very entertaining game tonight with us.
Deceiving for you guys joining us from home, because most of the fans are just down below us, staying out of the rain, and then several in the Three Lions pub, like you mentioned, Derek, watching the US game. But back to Swope Park Rangers, the oldest player in the starting lineup tonight, just 23 years old, a very youthful side.
Yeah, I think, you know, now they've got that link with the MLS club, and it's a real defined link now. They're almost playing like a reserve team. A lot of these players are really trying to get into the MLS squad or get MLS games, and I'm sure throughout the broadcast we'll mention the ones that are getting closer and closer. But as I said, you know, these teams now that they use the USL Championship to get quality games for these young players to try and bridge the gap. They're very competitive, but you can see from their results, you know, they're not at the top end of the table. That's probably not their priority. Their priority is to give their younger players a games program against really senior opposition. And they're competitive. It's not like they're just a team out there. They're very competitive. They're not getting thumped every week. But it's a real breeding ground now for MLS players now, USL Championship. And it's going to continue to be that way, I think.
Just 3 lonely players from SKC on the Swope Park Rangers side tonight, because SKC take on Columbus Crew tomorrow evening at 5:30 p.m. So several of those making the trip maybe being on the bench, and Mike Anhauser's side rallying round. Captain Taylor Mueller leading the pack, and he is back in the lineup. I know we're going to talk a bit more about that at half-time, but how key will he be tonight against this young side?
No, I think, and listen, you know, what many of the viewers may not know is that the road trip that the Battery has been on, you know, they've had a game cancelled here. They had to travel within sort of 19 hours to go and play another game, and then they had a big quick turnaround to go and play the top of the league team. Got a great result, and then they've come back this weekend, and the weather hasn't been great in Charleston this week. You know, we've had a lot of rain, a lot of high humidity, so they're just starting to get back into the swing of things. And then, lo and behold, after this game now with this delay, they're back off and they're on the road again on Tuesday. So it's a fast and frank. There's not a lot of downtime for these players, but I think sometimes that can be a good thing. They get into a groove, into a rhythm, and, you know, Leland Archer's just returned from national duty, so, you know, he'll be looking to get a game under his belt. So, as I said, I think, you know, there's so many variables tonight, and as I said, I'm very interested to see how this game's going to pan out.
You talk about the tough and difficult stretch, some versatility within Mike Anhauser's side. Angelo Kelly dropping back to be right back tonight. We've seen him on the wing and in the central midfield position. How important is it to have those versatile players throughout this tough stretch?
Oh no, very, you know, again, and, you know, with the absence of Jay Bolt, who's Mr. Utility, you know, he's sort of come into that role, isn't he? Jared Van Schaik's another one, isn't he? You know, he's played in multiple positions. So, as I said, it'll be interesting, and now the game's underway. You know, the people at home will see how tricky it will be underfoot, how quick the ball will move, and as I said, it leads to a very entertaining game, I think.
Matt Franz has got us underway from a very rainy MUSC Health Stadium in Charleston, South Carolina. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you for joining us for tonight's game and sticking with us wherever you are. Jared Van Schaik, Team of the Week this week for his stellar performance against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Starts at left back tonight for Mike Anhauser.
And the early warnings are that the graphics people got it right. Looks like it's a back four. You know, Leyland Archer with partner in Taylor Mueller in the defence, and it looks like Angelo Kelly is playing as a right back, so like a 4-4-1-1 type of scenario. So that's a change for Mike Anhauser.
See how that pans out. Juan Cazane on the ball, like we mentioned, the workhorse in the middle of the park, has made some MLS appearances already, actually scored on his debut for SKC as the ball finds its way out wide for Will Little. Played at the back by Leyland Archer, the College of Charleston product, like you mentioned, just returned from international duty with Trinidad and Tobago. And it'll be Tar Brian Anunga, the man in the middle. Everything goes through him as of late for this side, the 2018 Battery MVP. Having a fantastic season, like you mentioned, really the unsung hero of the team a lot of the time. Yeah,
no, he is. He is Mr. Charleston Battery. You know, in the midfield, he's got a little bit of everything. You know, he gets forward, he defends, he can create goals, he stops goals, he tackles hard, he works. You know, I'd love to see what his stats are, and he's running every game. And you know, he's a very good complement to Vincenzo Candela in there, because you know they both sit there, they do the unsung work most of the time.
Felipe Hernandez just shielding that out. You mentioned him in the pre-game. 5 goals, 2 assists on the season so far. And when you look at some of the statistics of these Swope Park Rangers players, you wouldn't expect them to be sitting at the bottom of the table.
No, as I said earlier, you know, they use this as a way to develop players for the senior team. I think that's the way some of these clubs have gone, and quite rightly so. You know, these players can come in and they can have really good competitive seasons, and then it breeds them well to go into the MLS sides, you know, because that jump before was a vast jump. Now it's not such a big jump. You can see from the Open Cup results how well now the USL teams fare against some of these MLS teams. So, you know, the game as a whole is being raised in America, and hopefully the national team will replicate that in the Gold Cup that they're in right now.
Riley pumps one forward to Mbakali. Some fancy trickery on the far side, not enough to get around Angelo Kelly, but Alexander makes his way into the attack and tries to launch one across the box. It takes the deflection, and that will be a corner. And keep your eye on Alexander tonight, the wing-back, 5 assists on the season so far. Another one absolutely potent in the attack. Difficult to mark when you're coming back from that wing-back position. Yeah, no, and I think that's a factor of the modern game now, isn't it? You've got, you know, wing-backs now, or overlapping full-backs, or, you know, whatever, outside backs as they're known in America, and they come in now and they do get a lot of assists because they're encouraged to get forward now. I think years gone by they were defenders. Now, as I said, they're asked to really join in the attack. It's Hernandez, Alexander by his side, goes short, Alexander with the delivery, and Camden Riley, the centre, back up in the attack. No damage done though for the black and yellow. Yeah, he broke free there, done very well, didn't he, Riley? He lost his marker and got a good header. Just got there a little bit too early. If you see there, he arrives a little bit too early and just can't redirect it on target. But good header, and a worrying sign for the Battery that he got that much free time inside or just outside the 6-yard box. Joe Kuzminski to get us back underway. Kuzminski having a flying season so far. 3 clean sheets on the year. Loose ball through. Zendejas. Corley scoops it up from the back. Opts to play short. Graham Smith. And the game started brightly, considering the delay that these players have had to deal with. I mean, I know we talk about it, but it is very difficult for players. You know, you warm up, you get ready to go. You know, I think they've had a much shorter warm up than they would normally have. As they were about to come out, the lightning started, so they've really only had about 20 minutes to warm up, and then you're stuck in a changing room for, you know, what was nearly over an hour. So you know, it's going to take them a little while to go. So it wouldn't surprise me if this game is a little bit scrappy to start with, and then it will settle down, and
And the Battery traditionally, I thought we were going to see the foul. Here it is there, yeah, Nunga just comes in, just catches him late.
Arthur Bourgeois, pressure up top as Mike Anhauser's side creeps forward. Higashi with the press, and still Zendejas opts to work it out of the back. You know, the big characteristics from this side, choosing to work it out the back even under pressure, something that the first team SKC tried to instill in this side.
Yeah, no, as I said, you know, one of the things that when you have a club structure, a pyramid system, you know, do you try and play the same way? And you know, the modern game now is trying to play out from the back now, isn't it? Everyone wants to play out from the back, but you know, tonight in these conditions, you know, it's going to be a little bit slick. You know, your touch has got to be spot on. You know, your decisions have got to be spot on. I mean, these players do like to zip the ball around and pass it quickly. And as I said, maybe the harder pass tonight is the one the back to front because it could run away.
Handshake on this near side, threads the ball through nicely for Nico Rittmeyer, nicked off his feet at the very last second. Out of bounds it goes, and Leland Archer leaves it because we're back underway from Jared Van Schaik. Here's Rittmeyer, some fancy trickery, and Matt Franz gives it in favour of the home side. And here comes a set-piece opportunity, Derek. This could be dangerous for the likes of Vincenzo Candela.
Yeah, and I like it very early. You can see Nico Rittmeyer looking to take on his defender, and more importantly on the outside. I always think sometimes he wants to come in onto his right foot, but we saw there that he done a nice little scissors, a little step over as we call it, and tried to go around the outside, and he's earned his side a free kick in a very, very dangerous area.
Vincenzo Candela, the Colombian, can absolutely whip one in. Very dangerous in the box with these slick and very wet conditions.
The goalkeepers won't want to be carrying these. They'll you know, probably elect to punch. It's going to be under pressure. The ball's a bit slick as well. So I'm sure deep down Vincenzo will be looking to score a goal here, whip it in.
High in the box, Leland Archer, Taylor Mueller. Arthur Bourgeois straight in, though, no worries for Zendejas. Tries to work it out the back, looking for options available. Might be forced to go long this time, but finds the feet of Graham Smith. Dispossessed on this near side. Rittmeyer picks it up, whips one into the middle. Romario Pigott nods one off for Kotaro Higashi. Higashi returns to sender. Pigott looking for some space, finds it with Rittmeyer, sends it launching across the box. Angelo Kelly arriving.
That's the advantage of the formation that they're planting up with the 4-4-2, that Angelo Kelly can go and really get into the final third and know that he's still got 3 people behind him. So that I'm sure that'll be a factor tonight, where you'll see Jared Van Schaik and Angelo Kelly really trying to get round the outside, and that will give them their width to try and get round the back of Swope Park and get crosses in, just like we saw there.
Angelo Kelly just struggling to turn on it. A shortened warm-up as well, we should mention, for both these sides after a long lightning delay. Kelly drops one into the middle. Tarbara and Anunga for Candela. Nothing to come of it for Bourgeois.
That pass is going to have to be perfect when you knock it through, because with this slick surface it's going to go through. And then, you know, I'm not even sure the viewers can see, but the rain's still coming down. It's not really heavy. There's a nice steady drizzle coming down. It'd be nice for the players to have that, because we've had very hot conditions here. So I'm sure they'll enjoy it. But it's definitely making it for a slick surface to play. There's another loose pass.
Arthur Bourgeois brings it down at the top of the box. He gets the strike away just wide of the target. Arthur Bourgeois creating something from nothing there, though.
And he's a player on form, isn't he? You know, he's very lively, very bright around the box. Here we go. Look, it's a stray pass, great touch. He's only got one thing in his mind. He's looking for. He just drags it a little bit, but you know, again, he's nice and brave and alert around the box. So that's a good thing. There's another example of a stray pass. Now it's just going to go away. If it's not a perfect pass, it's going to be difficult for these players to secure it.
Leland Archer, time and space out of the back. Across to the captain, who's approaching his 200th professional appearance. In his 8th season with the Charleston Battery, started every game but one last season, 4th in all-time appearances. behind two men that are on the bench, Dusty Hudock and John Wilson, assistant coach. Taro Higashi, fancy footwork, very agile, still running into the attack and brought down right under Matt Fran's nose, and that is mustard in the early going.
And I think that's very harsh there. You know, it's the first real tackle of the game on this slick circuit. I think it looked worse than what it was. And, you know, the referee's now, I'm saying he's caused himself a problem, but he's set the tone for the game now. Any sort of late little challenge is probably going to be a card now. And I hope that's not a trend that we see for the rest of the game.
Mark Zegba's in the books. Started 13 of the 14 games he's appeared in. One of the mainstays on the back line, was drafted in 2018 by New England Revolution. Made just one appearance for them before going on loan to USL side Orange County SC. And here another chance for Mike Anhauser's side. It's Jared Van Schaik and Vincenzo Candela over the dead ball. That height in the box is there again. And once again, it's Candela. A good in-swinging ball, picked up in the air. The danger not over. Takes the deflection, but Matt Franz blows his whistle. A free kick out of the back for the visitors.
And I think there's one there really where the goalkeeper gets away from it, isn't it? You know, I don't think Bourgeois has done anything wrong there. He's just got his body in front of the goalkeeper. And here we go, you'll see it here. Look, he doesn't really do anything wrong. Just watch him. He's not even looking for the goalkeeper. He's just looking for the ball. And the goalkeeper always gets the benefit of the doubt in those situations.
Arthur Bourgeois, the two-time Ivy League Offensive Player of the Year in his rookie season. Another one we'll talk about at half-time. Already made such an impact on this side with 3 goals on the season so far. Angelo Kelly, the Honduran, gets it underway quickly. Here's Pigott, lays it off to Candela, all the way to the back line. Paulo Nagamura down below us in the rain, hood up, dishing some instruction to his side. Also works very closely with Peter Vermees to keep the style of play so similar for their MLS affiliate. And a very difficult job for him with an ever-changing lineup week in, week out.
Yeah, no, they say it's a very hard job, you know, because obviously everything's on a pyramid system is built around the first team, you know, which is seen at the Sporting KC.
It's a brilliant ball from Van Schaik to Rittmeyer. Rittmeyer just a loose touch in the box. And Nunga keeps the possession for his side. But back to your point, Derek.
Yeah, no, they, you know, the first team, everything is built around the first team or the senior team or the top team, depending on which term you want to use. And, you know, you need to give players games, you know, so people that are sub and travelled, you know, this is a great opportunity to give them good, competitive, solid games. You know, the travel's obviously a major factor in America, you know, with the distance that these players travel. You know, one of the pleasing things for me is today, you know, this game's been delayed an hour, and many, many people that you can't really see on camera have stayed around. It shows you how popular soccer's getting in America, that there's a big crowd beneath us that have hung around for an hour and a half. Again, I think it helped that they had the national team game on TV, but, you know, there's a big crowd, and, you know, shows that the soccer in Charleston is very, very bright at the moment.
Segbers makes his way up to drop that one in. And Bakali has made his way across to this near side. Switch with Will Little. The two attacking forces up top tonight. And here is Little on the far side. Battling with Angelo Kelly, who does just enough for a goal kick for Joe Kuzminski. Fans Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues around the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportsamerica.com.
It's funny, Will Little now, you know, I saw him play, I've seen him play a few times as a youngster up when he was back in Tennessee. And it's lovely to see a young lad come through, you know, the ranks and then start to play at this level. And I'm sure his ambition is to play in the MLS team. But, you know, you see there he's got nice, tricky feet. He's very brave when he's on the ball. He's moved around from one side to the other. So, you know, it stands well for him and his career going forward.
He started 6 of the 9 games he's appeared in this season so far. Last year only started 1 of the 6 appearances he made. Expecting a big year, a very exciting An electric, speedy forward. We'll keep our eye on him tonight. Space in the middle. Out wide, but Van Schake's there. Here's Rittmeyer. Nicely done by the Battery, who've kept the possession well so far. Takes a deflection, unlucky there for Nico Rittmeyer, as Segbers gets his side back underway. All the way back to Camden Riley, who's forced up and out. And Archer. And Mungo with Higashi. Higashi picking up some speed in the middle of the park. Rittmeyer, can he get there? Fantastic sliding challenge from Segbers.
Segbers has got to be careful. He's had that yellow card very early in the game for a fullback, and I'm sure, you know, Mike Anhauser will encourage Nico Rittmeyer to run with the ball and take him on just in case there's a bit of a loose tackle. But great play by Kelly here. Brilliant
touch from Angelo Kelly as he comes inside the box. Still Angelo Kelly. Can he drop one back? He'll take the corner instead. And we mentioned just how versatile Angelo Kelly's been, coming back from injury, but he seems to be on superb form at the minute.
No, he has. He had, you know, sometimes, you know, you as a player, you can get an injury and it acts as a bit of a break for you. But he's now come in, he's been used in different positions. We missed a little bit of skill there, but even how confident is he in taking people on? And once he got into that position, he was only going to get a corner.
Vincenzo Candela over there on the far side, an out swinger. Coming in, the fans getting behind him. Here comes the delivery. Zendejas forced to punch away.
Good delivery in there, wasn't it? Normally they've got Seco Lewis who whips at him with his left foot, but that was a good delivery there. And as I said, you know, predictable, the goalkeeper's not going to try and catch those. They're going to try and punch, I think, in these conditions.
Seco Lewis away with Bermuda on international duty. We'll speak about him at half-time. Segbers strolling down this near side. Van Schaik just using his experience, but a loose touch from him. Harris. Good, sturdy challenge from the captain, Taylor Mueller.
He does that very well, Taylor, doesn't he? Just finds himself in the right positions all the time and just puts his foot in. And as I said, you know, we'll talk about him at half-time, but he's a, you know, very, very important player for this Battery team.
Angelo Kelly's speedy legs couldn't connect with Higashi. Things starting to open up now. A sliding challenge from Rittmeyer. And Bukele into the box he goes, lays one off to the top. Leland Archer forced to the rescue. It's Hernandez. We know how dangerous he can be in and around the box. Throwing for the home side.
And as a player, Leland Archer, you know, he's just returned from international duty, and I'm sure Mike Anhauser will be thinking, well, how would that affect him? You know, he got called up for his national team, and then they sent him back. You know, they had managed to get a more senior player at the time, but, you know, just to say he was part of that Gold Cup process, and he only arrived back yesterday. He's been away for a while, missed a couple of the, you know, the first team games here at the Battery. So now he, you know, I'm sure he'll be very motivated to get back into his job, and you see straight away now he's very much focused on doing it. He's a true professional because he's done a lot of travelling, and I'm sure there was a little bit of disappointment in his mind when he was released from the squad. Particularly, you know, maybe he didn't go there with the ambition of playing, but certainly to be part of that, you know, Gold Cup process.
Someone who's rose through the ranks rapidly fast here after coming midway through the season last year, graduating from the College of Charleston. Only started 7 matches last season and already off to a flying start this year, a real mainstay in the back line. Gets a nod on it there, Rittmeyer. Not too many options on for him. He'll take the greenery in front of him. Bourgeois takes a step back and he wins a set-piece opportunity for his side here.
Yeah, and again, you know, Bourgeois there, he's not just a big striker. He wants to hold the ball. He turns with it. He wants to run with it. You know, he's a big guy who can step back into that little pocket and can play and link the game up. You know, it's a big feature of his game, and you know, his work ethic is fantastic. You know, young players out there watching this should certainly look at him, see how much energy he puts in, how much running he does. You know, he's the, you know, the spearhead of the attack, but he's also the first line of the defence up there. He does his defensive work as well. So he's been quiet tonight so far. Romario Piggott hasn't really got into the game yet. He's been very quiet. I mean, we've mentioned his name too much. And he's one that that the battery really do need to get on the ball. And these are his conditions, where he can run, twist and turn, take players on.
Fiery player scored his first goal for the battery against Birmingham Legion. Last home game, the Panamanian scored 7 goals, registering 6 assists in the 14 matches he appeared in for Myrtle Beach Community before joining the Black and Yellow. Very creative player, like you said. Quiet so far this half. Here he is on the ball. It's a good touch back to Angelo Kelly. Lays one to the top of the box. It's Tabaran Anunga. Can he get it out of his feet? Across to Rittmeyer. Lays it into the box. And Bourgeois can't read it quick enough.
I think he was surprised. I think he thought that Nico Rittmeyer there was going to have a shot rather than roll it into him.
Safety first from Van Schaik at the back. Kelly on this near side.
For this Swope Park team, to come here to play against a club like the Battery that are so good at home, their record speaks for itself. They're well drilled. They love playing here in this stadium, and I'm sure that when they're travelling, this is probably one of the grounds they come to, and they're thinking, we are going to have to be on top of our game. Then you throw in the lightning delay, then you throw in the wet conditions, and as I said, I'm sure this is a tough ask for them. But as young players, it's a sort of task they're going to have to face in their careers if they want to play at this level for a long period of time.
Like we mentioned, they are winless on the road. 1 win on the season so far, but that win came against the 2-time reigning champion Louisville City at Slugger Field, which isn't an easy place to play anyway. At home, sorry, against Louisville. But just a difficult season for them to get going so far, especially after 2 fantastic years for them in the Western Conference prior to moving over to the East.
Yeah, and I'm sure that has an impact as well, on their travel. I mean, now, where they were used to travelling. Players at this level do get into a routine. They do recognise certain stadiums. You might have a good game at this place or a not so good game there. So it is definitely, it has an impact on young players.
Brilliant touch from Rittmeyer. It's Van Schaik who knocks it into the box. Nothing to come of it. Maybe a breakaway at the other end of the pitch as Hernandez comes steaming through the midfield. Nicely done by Angelo Kelly to win back the possession. The Honduran still going on the far side. It's been very back and forth in this late going.
The game really hasn't, no team's dominating right now, are they? It's a little bit messy. It's good up until the final third, but and again, is that down to the conditions? Is it down to the delay? Maybe this is one of them games where the second half's really going to pick up, where the players, find their feet. Here's an opportunity now for Rittmeyer.
Rittmeyer, well read, on his own, outnumbered, comes steaming into the top of the box. Matt Franz waves play on. Rittmeyer left on the floor. Offside, Mbakeli.
I think Mike Anhaz is asking for a foul, but I think more importantly, I think he should have a little chat with Nico Rittmeyer there, because he was positive, but he should have just gone a little bit wider on his left side and took it in. He went a little bit too straight into pressure. I think what Mike Anhauser was asking for the free kick. He did go down rather easily, and he had no reason to go down.
Fans, you can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for the Charleston Battery, then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores, plus get reminders on the Charleston Battery's next match. Go to ESPN.com and click follow for your club. Approaching 25 minutes in the books from MUSC Health Stadium. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you for sticking with us for this match. Here comes an opportunity for Mike Anhauser's side. A sliding challenge by Graham Smith to keep it out of the box. A brilliant opportunity there. The danger not over for the visitors. Candela at the top of the box. Higashi getting involved in the mix. Here comes a ground ball delivery. It's Bourgeois. And Zendejas to the rescue. But here comes a corner for Mike Anhauser's side. That
was a really good chance. And again, Bourgeois has done brilliant there. He doesn't really realise, and the goalkeeper's got very fortunate there. He's just in the right place at the right time. I don't think Bourgeois done anything wrong there.
The two centre-backs, Mueller and Archer, making their way up. out on the far side. Vincenzo Candela setting it up on a tee nicely. Been dangerous with these corners so far in the match. Here comes another outswinger. A dangerous ball in, but away at the near post. Once again, Anunga to recycle. Candela looking for some space. It's Pigott who's led onto it. And out to the back by Camden Riley.
The intentions are clear from these corners, aren't they? They just whip them in with pace for these conditions. And as I said, any goalkeeper is going to have to punch. They're not really going to try and catch it under pressure there. Swope Park had every player inside their 18-yard box for that corner, so they obviously know the dangers that the Battery players have.
Archer finds himself a bit of time in the midfield.
Battery are starting now just to get a little bit on top now. They're getting some good possession. They're pinning them in a little bit.
Looks like an awkward one there on Brian Anunga, who takes a knock.
Yeah, I think he just beat him with pace, and he's just caught one of them nasty ones right on the shin. I'm sure that's the sort of, I'm certainly, there was no intent. Here we go. Look, he's just he stood on his foot. Yeah, he stood on the arch of his foot.
Brilliant.
I'm going to show my age. Yeah, I'm going to show my age now and say that I think these young, these boots, these new cleats, these plastic lightweight boots. I think if you wear your old-fashioned ones, you don't get injured with those sort of things there. So these boots now are so light. There's not a lot of protection there for these players and their feet.
Well, we were out on the pitch pre-game. Such a slick surface out there tonight. Difficult to keep your foot in at the best of times. Van Schaik in a bit of danger. Rittenmeyer once again. Segbers, but the culprit.
He's got to be careful. I said he's already had a booking, and now the coach, I'm sure the coach is telling him to calm down. You get a young player, he feels he can win the ball, but there was no real need to go and win it there. He wasn't going anywhere. You'll see it again. Look, there he goes. He's gone away from goal. There's no need to come in and win that.
Van Schaik takes quickly. Can't keep the possession on this near side.
There's more fans streaming in now. Word must have got out that the game's kicked off. So there's more fans working their way into the stadium, which is nice to see.
Anunga. Oh, this time it's Kotaro Higashi in a second too late. Zendehouse making his way all the way out of the net. Matt Franz, know his opinion on the challenge. Camden Riley launches one into the attack. Mueller up to win the aerial duel.
Good play by the Battery, just the Candela there. Nice little first touch back in.
Dangerous on this near side. A bit of sand down there. Van Schaik just losing his footing. No damage done. All the way around the back for the Battery.
Right now, Joe Kuzminski, you don't want to tempt fate, but he really hasn't had too much to do, is he? A couple of back passes, really, and everything else has been very, just joining up the attack and passing it round to his back four. So, you have to certainly say that the Battery are on top in the game in terms of chances and how they've started off this game.
Hernandez. Nothing to come of it. Here comes Jared Van Schaik. Lays one off to the top of the box. Romario Pigott loses his footing. Falls for Anunga. Candela stops in his tracks. Turns to the Cameroonian. Nicely possessed by the Battery. Ritmeyer tracks across the top of the box, looking for an outlet. Patient build-up from the black and yellow. Commentators curse.
But you can see now the Battery players, they are the more senior players. They look like they've come to terms with this delay that they've experienced. They're now into the game, aren't they? They're fully functional right now. They look very confident. They're good in possession of the ball. They've created a few chances. Swope Park, on the other hand, are just, you know, struggling to have really good possession. You know, when they do get it, it's normally in their own third, and then they have to go, their outlet pass is a long ball, and it hasn't been great up until now. So, you know, the home fans, you're thinking good positive signs, and the Battery using their experience to try and get a good foothold in this game.
Sendejas makes his 6th start tonight. 6'5", SKC Loney. Here comes Arthur Bourgeois. Can't quite connect. Sendejas quick off his line.
It's a little bit too straight, I said. With these conditions, it's very hard to play them balls through. They just run through to the keeper.
Felipe Hernandez. 5 goals on the season so far, 2 assists. Our one to watch in the pre-game. Another one that's been quite quiet in this first half so far.
Yeah, no, so far, as I said, they haven't really, you know, tested the Battery in any real shape or form.
Riley to Smith. Segbers gets involved on the back line. Pressure creeping up from the Battery. Sendejas still calm at the back to work it out. Good step from Tarbra and Anunga, who led the Battery in tackles and interceptions last season. This time it'll go against him.
Yeah. I think he just gets, I think he's a victim now, just being stronger there than, was it Hernandez, I think it was, wasn't it? You know, I think he's just too strong for him there. Oh, you can see there's a stray arm. See, the referee saw that. And the referee, to be fair, was in a good condition, a good position, so much better than us.
Riley struggling to make a decision on in his first professional contract this year. Was selected in the 2nd round of the 2019 draft by SKC, the University of Pacific product. 19 goals and 10 assists in his collegiate career from the back line.
He looks very assured. Then he's a good, you know, good player. Very assured in his position. He can hit long balls. He's had that early header, didn't he? In the opponent's box, you can see he's a big, strong lad, very athletic. You know, so that one little thing I would say, you know, he's long passing is just, you know, he'll develop that as the longer he plays at this level.
This is 13th start tonight, one of the very few mainstays on this side. Also has tallied a goal on the season so far as well.
It's always good for confidence for young players to get a goal, especially if you're a defender.
Sliding in, Hernandez. Out wide end, Bekele at the top of the box. Pressure on from Rittmeyer. The back heel is there. And Segbers joins in the attack as he comes into the box. Segbers, fantastic ground ball. Safety in numbers from the black and yellow. And straight out the back by the captain.
Good positive run there by Segbers, wasn't it? He drove into the box, and in these conditions you can't really afford to make a tackle, and if you do, it has to be spot on. Yeah, very positive run by him there.
Swope Park Rangers with a spring in their step at the minute.
It's probably their best spell of the game right now. You know, they've sort of pinned the Battery in a little bit now. They've sort of worked their way out. And, you know, maybe they've finally found their feet in the game, and they're coming alive. And the Battery, you know, under a little bit of pressure for the first time in the game. Let's see how they handle it.
Felipe Hernandez over the ball. Alongside Alexander, the man with 5 assists on the season so far. A lefty and a righty. Derek, you always mentioned difficult for the goalkeeper to set up the wall with an in-swinging ball.
Yeah, it should be a left footer here, whipping it in.
It's a good delivery towards the back post, because Minsky forced to make the save as he pulls it out the sky.
And I'm just looking at it now. I mean, Joe Kuzminski's kit, his uniform, that grey with the white, I don't know how he got away with that tonight. Look, it doesn't really look distinguished, does it? You know, when it was in there, you can just about see him, but that grey and white kit is very, very similar. Maybe even if he had black shorts on or something, it would be a little bit different, but obviously the referee said it was fine.
Difficult in this rainy and dreary conditions out here tonight in Charleston, South Carolina. Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Again, thank you for staying with us for this later kickoff after lightning delays finally underway from MUSC Health Stadium. 10 minutes to go until half-time. Derek, your thoughts on the match so far?
Yeah, no, I think the Battery certainly have been the better teams in these early stages. You know, they've seemed to have handled the delay a lot better. The last 5 minutes, Swope Park are starting to come into the game now. They're getting a little bit more possession. And as I said, maybe they have woke up, maybe they found their feet. And if that's the case, it will lead itself to being a much better game. But the Battery have tried to force them back. They've tried to put them under a bit of pressure. They've created a couple of chances. But as you can see from this now, you know, Swope Park seem to be getting out with a little bit more ease than they were sort of 10 minutes ago.
Smith, SKC Loney, selected 18th overall in the 2018 draft, has already made 4 starts, 5 appearances for SKC this season.
Loose pass there again.
Here's Hernandez. Cuts inside to the top of the box. Brian Anunga to the rescue. Finds the feet of Nico Rittmeyer, who can turn on it. Rittmeyer outside foot to Arthur Bourgeois. Nicely worked. Higashi. Swope Park dropping back. Safety in numbers to defend. And a good transition from the visitors.
The Battery move the ball sideways very quickly, then I think it unsettles this Swope Park team, and the Battery can certainly get in on down the flanks when they do it quickly, you know. And they've even got, you know, Brian Anunga and Higashi just finding those little pockets where they can link the game up as well. So they've got options. They can go around the sides, they can go through the middle. And even Jared Van Schaik here again looks got forward a couple of times.
Here he is in the attack, delivers a dangerous ball into the box. Bourgeois is there. Rittmeyer cleans it up. Back to Anunga, space outside, but opts to chip it straight down the middle. Taro Higashi was almost on the end of it, but not before Zendejas collects. Zendejas with 1 MLS appearance on the season so far. It was against FC Cincinnati, one of the new teams for MLS. Signed for Swope Park in 2016, has made over 40 appearances for them, one of the more veteran players of this side.
1-2.
Here's Kelly. Lofty ball towards the penalty spot. Nicely done by the visitors. Rittmeyer. Fancy turn from the Savannah native. Higashi, can he find a path through? It's a brilliant ball to the back post. Nobody home though.
And that was a shot on goal, was it? Nice little feet to get in. The fact he was confident enough to take it on his weaker foot. But that's what he can do. And these conditions are set for Higashi, aren't they? He definitely is one of these players that can thrive. Here we go. Look at his great little feet, little side step. Good shot. Just dragged it a little bit again. And a couple of the shots, Bourgeois had one, Higashi's had one. And hopefully, as you know, as they get more into this game, they can start to get something on target.
Taro Higashi, just 5'6", but incredibly agile, like you mentioned. The Japanese veteran in his 3rd season with the black and yellow, paid his way to open trials from Japan in 2017, impressed Mike Anhauser and the coaching staff, and actually won Newcomer of the Year that year. Had a stellar year last year as well, and really still coming into his own this season as well, after picking up a bit of a knock at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, some of these Battery players have had those little unfortunate injuries, and you know, there's nothing worse as a player when you stop start. You know, but you know, obviously with the amount of games the Battery's had in recent weeks, you know, he's starting to get his game feet on, and as I said, if he's playing well, the team's normally playing well.
Anunga finds space with the captain Mueller. A good 1-2 combination play. Here's Candela. Can he keep it in? Yes, he can. As he comes rolling down the flank, Kelly will take it over.
The difference in the Battery, they have Nico Rittmeyer, who's got great pace down this side, and both Kelly and Candela don't just have that little injection of pace to get them in behind. They're both good football players, good soccer players, good on the ball, but they just don't have that little extra gear that's going to get them around the back.
House as well with a couple of attacking substitutions on the bench so far. Nicu Daly, the Jamaican youngster, who's been a bit of a super sub as of late, and also leading goal scorer Ian Swanterson, who has 4 goals on the season so far and has been the saviour for the Battery during their Open Cup run, which came to an end last week against Atlanta United.
I think Ian Swanson's just, you know, after that injury he's had, he's just getting his fitness back, and I'm sure he'll want to get in. And, you know, I'm sure we'll see Daly tonight. I think these conditions are absolutely made for him tonight. I'm sure we'll see him at some point coming on and you know, trying to use his trickery and unpredictability that we talk about. And I'm sure he'll be a real asset. And even Swanson himself, you know, he's in good goal scoring form. But that's great play by the Battery there. And Piggott's breaking down the side now.
Mario Piggott in behind the back line, quickly retreated. Camden Riley battling with it on the far side and does just enough to get it up and out, and earns a free kick while he's at it.
And Piggott's just not really got into his game tonight. He's a very good player, and you know, these conditions should suit him. You know, he's very good on the ball. He's a good runner with the ball. He's a good dribbler. And tonight he just hasn't got it down. He hasn't been able to really influence the game right now. It's certainly, you know, Nico Rittmeyer seems to be the one that's up for the fight in terms of that. Boshi was, you know, definitely keen. Right now, Nunga's probably been the player of the half, hasn't he? You know, with his all-action play.
Just under 4 minutes left to go. Regulation of this first half from Charleston, South Carolina. Just joining us, a delayed kickoff after several lightning delays. Still bad weather, a slick surface. I'd say now pretty good footballing conditions. Here's Van Shaker, fantastic challenge from the veteran at the back.
And he got the throw as well, just took a little nick off the attacker there. And that was a conditions tackle, that, wasn't it? You know, that's one where you know you can just slide in, use the wetness of the turf and just slide in, win the ball and play it off the opposition to get your throw in.
Jared Van Shaker, we'll talk about him at half-time as he's on the USL Championship Team of the Week after his stellar performance against the Tampa Bay Rowdies last weekend at Al Lang Stadium. And of course, the Battery schedule coming up, we'll touch on that as well, so stay with us at the break.
I think I will say this is a very important time of the game now. You know, a goal any time now can really change your half-time team talk in the second half. And you know, I think it's a very important time for you know, the players and for the coaching staff if you can steal a goal just before half-time. And right now, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be the Battery. You know, you think, you know, they'll pin them in, and as I said, anything from Swope Park at this stage would be against the run of play.
Keeping their eye down below on the weather conditions. Looking to be all okay as of right now, though. Fingers crossed it stays that way for the remainder of tonight's match. Archer. Just waved his hand there, slipped off his foot.
They don't really need to go back to front. They've done very well working it through and little 1-2s and their little triangles and a little combination. He's been very successful in this first half. They don't really need to go back to front. I'm sure that'll be something Coach Anhauser will be talking to him about at half-time.
Angelo Kelly all the way back home to Kuzminski.
As I said, I don't think Joe's had to touch it with his hands at all, really. Everything's been with his feet, and he's very proficient with his feet.
The native came through the Colorado Rapids youth system. The UAB product had 12 clean sheets in 24 appearances last season for the Battery, and has been an absolute mainstay, starting every league match so far this year for the Black and Yellow. Archer assessing his options.
Behind it, behind the ball.
Takes Rittmeyer's place out wide.
Swope play, they just need to do it a little bit quicker. You know, they know what they're trying to do. They're trying to, you know, spread out Swope Park just so there's little gaps for the players to run into. They just got to move that ball a little bit quicker. When they've done it quickly, they've done very well. And here's another good, you know, win back by Angelo Kelly.
Through the middle, Hernandez trying to get on the end of it. 1 minute of added on time here in the first half. The confirmation of that down below. Offside. That one will be brought back. And Bakili there. Just having a word in the middle of the park. Van Schaik takes it quickly. Forced to bring it back. The ball travelling. Canhauser not very happy down below. Mike Canhauser in his 26th season with the Charleston Battery. He's just done wonders for the club. We talk about him every broadcast, Eric. But difficult to even think of the Charleston Battery without thinking of Mike Canhauser and all the work he's done, not only as a player, but mainly as a coach here.
No, for sure. And you know, tonight, you know, where this delay was on.
Bourgeois gets a touch on it and just wide. What a fantastic opportunity just on the stroke of half-time, but it will remain scoreless. Brilliant chance for Bourgeois, and now Zendejas is shown yellow. Let's have another look at this, Derek.
Yeah, no, it's a great run, great time, and he's used his body well. He's done it right. He's tried to just flick it round the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper's there got a stupid yellow card there. All he's done is he's run past the referee, straight to the linesman, you know, complaining about offside, and has earned himself a yellow card. And you know, now, you know, at some point he's going to have to try and take the sting out of the game if it stays 0-0, and he's put himself in a really precarious position.
And that is the last kick of the first half. 45 minutes in the books here from MUSC Health Stadium. 45 minutes left to go. Stay with us at halftime. We'll take a look at the player spotlight and the upcoming matches from the Charleston Battery. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a sec. Welcome back. It's Poppy Miller. Welcome back, it's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Brawley, and time now to take a look around the USL Championship in this week's Around the League, presented by Home Telecom. We'll start with the Team of the Week, and Jared Van Schaik on there. We're absolutely thrilled to see him recognised, Derek, because he's been a bit of an unsung hero in the past couple of matches for the Battery. Yeah, for sure. No, and what's really exciting is that he's actually got this award by doing it in two different positions. He got it as a midfield player when he scored some goals, and now he's made that switch back to the back three. He's got it again. So yeah, very, very pleased for him and very well deserved. He came in off a fantastic performance against the Tampa Bay Rowdies and had a team high of 5 interceptions, 5 clearances and won 4 of his 6 duels for the black and yellow to earn them a point from Al Lang Stadium, just on fantastic form. And there you can see as well the player of the week, Steven Dos Santos. He's been firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, no, if he keeps his form up, that's going to really help his team get through to the playoffs.
He had a stellar performance as well at the weekend, registering a goal and an assist in the opening 13 minutes against Atlanta United 2 on Saturday, which helped his club to their 5-0 victory. Well, now let's turn our attention away from the league and concentrate on one player that's been on stellar performance for both club and country. It's Seco Lewis.
No, he really has, and his performance in Bermuda has been fantastic, and I'm going to be very fortunate enough to go up to New York on Monday and see him play in his final game.
He's been absolutely brilliant, and despite Bermuda not qualifying through the group stages, he's been a massive impact for them.
No, for sure, he really has, and what I'm saying to you here is it's not just his performances, he's got goals, he's got crosses in, he's been a real enthusiasm for all of his teammates, so yes, very, very pleased for him.
But Mike Anhauser will be thrilled to have him back playing for the black and yellow. Seco Lewis on fantastic form.
Arby will try again, and another, crossing in, it's a goal! Arby will try for goal again and find the back of the net. The cross keeps the winner. Another brace. Gallegos cuts it back. Gallegos. How about that finish?
And involve them in the process.
What does it mean to go full mingo?
Going full mingo means...
What does it mean to go full mingo?
You know what's funny is I actually hated that when I first heard it.
We say you never go half mingo, you always go full mingo. And that means just whatever the maximum extreme is, you go for it.
You're showing up there, you're passionate, you're wearing your gear, and you're being loud and proud in the brightest, boldest colours possible.
You're willing to be weird, you're willing to be, out there, stand proud.
Means to put all of your energy, your passion, and your love and support into Forward Madison. We're mere caretakers for this team. The team really belongs to Madison and the people of Madison.
I mean, I think everybody, to a certain degree, is interested in what their crest represents of the club they support. But it also means a lot more when the people that are actually in the stands every week are the ones that actually help make that happen.
The players on the field represent them.
From the get-go with our supporters, you can tell there's going to be a special connection. It motivates me every day to show up to training. It's why I play. And to be able to help foster a sense of community that fans and supporters connect with week in and week out, that's special to me. It's something that I cherish.
We've got a great facility to be proud of. We've got a team to be proud of. What this club is trying to do is offer a real sense of community to people from all different backgrounds, all different jobs, all different ages and everything. It's to each and every demographic as well.
The best thing we did was empower them, deputize them, and not get in their way. Just support them.
Come on and see the Charleston Battery play this summer. Tickets on sale at charlestonbattery.com. After the match, head up to Three Lines Pub for great deals on food and beverages.
Charleston Battery Soccer Club is the youth partner of the United Soccer League Championship Club Charleston Battery and also the Women's Premier Soccer League Club Charleston Fleet. We are a club that is totally focused on long-term individual player development that targets development in 3 main areas: player development, coaching development, and parent education. We strive to create the total learning environment of all of our venues in Somerville, Daniel Island, and Mount Pleasant locations. We do this via our age-specific curriculums for both boys and girls from the ages of 6 all the way through to 18 years. We have an in-house video-based curriculum and methodology that is available to each player alongside our unique Skills Fit Play sessions where our professional players interact directly with our youth players on techniques needed to play in the modern game. All players in the Low Country who are interested in getting involved on our pathway to the pros should check out our website.
Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium. It's halftime here between Charleston Battery and Swope Park Rangers. But while we have a second, let's turn our attention to the next upcoming match for the Charleston Battery. A difficult one. They'll cross over the border into Canada to take on Ottawa Fury on Wednesday night.
Yeah, and I'm sure when the fixtures come out at the start of the season, this didn't seem such a daunting place, but the fact that the travelling that the Battery's been doing over the last few weeks, it's only going to add to their travel schedule, really. So it's going to be a real tough one, playing a good team midweek after such a long, strenuous couple of weeks. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one.
And, of course, TD Place Stadium, a beautiful stadium, but always tricky when it's not that full with no atmosphere there.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing for these professional players, to play in an atmosphere where there is no atmosphere. So it's going to be a tough one anyway, and a long road trip for the players, but hopefully they can come through and do well on that one.
They'll then return home to take on New York Red Bulls 2, a team that has caused the Battery some problems over the years. Yeah,
sometimes you can have a bogey team, and it seems that this is the one for the Battery, isn't it? You know, they've had their very good battles during the season, but it's at those playoff stages where Red Bulls has always come and normally got on top of the team. So I'm sure this is one that the players are looking forward to, along with the coaching staff, because I think there's some retribution to be had there.
The Red Bulls 2 have knocked the Battery out of the playoffs for the last 2 consecutive seasons. The first time they met in the regular season, the Red Bulls won at 5-2, and then it was a 4-4 draw at MUSC Health Stadium, so we can expect lots of goals.
Yeah, no, I think both attacking teams, you know, Red Bulls is a young team that really wants to come out and play in the Battery at home. Have proven yet again this season that they're, you know, very hard to beat. So, yeah, this should be a real good one.
Let's turn our attention to the player spotlight this week. Talking of goals, our one in the spotlight, Arthur Bourgeois, the forward that's made quite the impact on the side in his rookie season.
Yeah, very much so. For a debut player, he's come in, he's scored some goals, he leads the line very well, his work ethic is fantastic. He runs around, he's not just that big striker, he can actually play, he likes to get it into his feet, he brings others into the game, and he's been a big beneficiary of some of the more attacking play, the more attacking style that Coach Anhauser has introduced this year.
The Ivy League 2-time Offensive Player of the Year has fitted in very nicely to the side, and big things to come from him for the rest of the season, I'm sure. Well, we're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll have second half action from MUSC Health Stadium. It's all coming up. Stay with us.
Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium for the start of this second half, and I think we're going to go to some highlights straight away so we can see and get a little recap of what happened in this first period.
Derek Broadley, take us through the highlights. Several chances for the Battery, and here is Arthur Bourgeois to get us going.
Yeah, no, there wasn't too many chances. Higashi here just got one. He's just dragged his shot. It really was a half of sort of like half chances. Both teams, as I said, come to terms with the conditions and with the delay, and this was the best chance of all, where Bourgeois just gets in right at the tail and could have sent his team in with a 1-0 lead, but it didn't quite happen. I think now both teams have got no more excuses now. They're both into the game. They've got 45 minutes under their belt, and I think that the big crowd that hung around now will get to see a really interesting and good second half.
Matt Franz is ready to get us back underway for the second half from MUSC Health Stadium. No changes as of right now for either side. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you for staying with us through this late kickoff. And here we go, 45 minutes left to go from Charleston, South Carolina. And Derek, we just spoke on social media. If you're Mike Anhauser, what do you think the message to the team was at the half?
No, more of the same, a little bit more quality in the final third. Keep the defence as tight as it's been in the first half, and we just need a bit more quality. I mean, you know, he can't be too unhappy with how his team have played and the chances they've created, but just a little bit more quality in the final third.
Here's Segbers all the way diagonally across the pitch from the wing-back position. Now Brian Anunga to intercept Piggott.
I'm sure Romario Piggott will want a much better second half. As I said, he is a very bright player, and he hasn't really quite got into this game. I'm sure he will. And as I said, you know, we were talking a little bit off air about, you know, Nikki Daly. I mean, this game's really set up for him. It's slick conditions. You know, he's playing against players of his same age, where he can come in and really make an impact on the game. So I'll be very surprised if we don't see him this evening. And, you know, normally coaches let it go to the hour mark and then see how the team beds in and settles down and then go from there.
Hugh Daly, just 18 years old, from Jamaica, made his first USL start against Tampa Bay Rowdies. Here is Nico Rittmeyer, chip ball towards the back post. Nobody home, nice and easy for Zendejas.
I think Rittmeyer probably was one of the brighter players in the first half. You know, he's got very positive. You know, I still would love to see him get more and more positive. I think he's got a lot to offer. He's a very talented player. He's got good pace. He's a real fit boy. And I think that, you know, he can have a bigger influence on this team than sometimes he has.
Here's captain Taylor Mueller. Finds the feet of Bourgeois. Bourgeois sliding in. Camden Riley manages to just get a nick on it.
And he gets the throw as well. I think it just come off Bourgeois as it went through. But Riley's impressed me in the first half. He had a good header, didn't he? You know, he got in, and he looks very composed for a young lad who's, as I said, and you know, when you come into teams, normally the strikers like Daly get all the limelight, but he's a good, solid centre-back. He looks like he understands his position very well, and he looks very competent.
Like we mentioned, the 6'1" defender has a goal on the season so far as well. The Bourgeois trying to go into the attack. The Battery bench furious that the advantage wasn't played. Derek, what did you think there? No,
I think the referee, you know, I think he's looked for the player's safety. It's very hard, but as I said, you know, that should have been, you know, I think that's what the players are telling him there. Look, you know, it's a bit of a clumsy tackle. He is a bit of a delayed one down, but yeah, the referee probably in hindsight would have liked to have kept that going. I think it's also a tough one for referees there, because they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. You know, if they don't give a free kick and it was a missed chance, then players moan either way.
Anunga takes it quickly, goes square to Van Schaik.
The only thing I was going to say in the referee's defence, they have that 5-second rule now where he could have maybe utilised that a little bit more there, but he didn't.
Van Schaik combining on the far side. Here's Kataro Higashi, leads Rittmeyer into the attack, and safety in numbers out of the back from the visitors.
Yeah, I think that was Segbers again, and he's had a good, you know, he got an early booking. And he hasn't deterred it from his competitiveness. He's still, you know, tenacious in his tackle. Great recovery run now. And, you know, he's on a bit of a tightrope anyway.
Van Schaik trying to whip a delivery, and it takes a deflection. And up comes Vincenzo Candela. Let's see what he can cook up with this one. Several chances in the first half from the corner spot.
He's definitely worked on his delivery. It's getting better. I think watching Seco Lewis whip it in is inspired him. Let's see where it goes now.
Candela, brilliant ball in, takes a knock towards the back post. Higashi's there. He'll let it go all the way through, though, for a throw. Taken quickly for Kelly. Nodded on to Anunga. Good triangles from the battery. Tries to work it into the box. Bourgeois comes flying in. Straight up the top to Wilson Harris. Out wide, Will Little on the run.
Will Little drifted back onto that right-hand side where he started the game. He wasn't getting much success on the left. He's going to go and see how he goes. And as I said, sometimes with these young players, when they come into these games, you know, they need a little spark to get going. Will Little hasn't really had that spark tonight. He had a little spell where I thought he was going to come into the game, but he's been kept very quiet. And that's something he's going to have to work on as he matures into this league.
Segbers, still Segbers. Mueller to step in his way.
He's very positive, isn't he, Segbers? You know, as I said, he's on a tightrope at the back there, but twice now he's come marauding forward, and he's happy to take players on, and he's very excited when he gets into the opponent's box, and he goes at such a pace you don't want to touch him in case he goes down.
1 goal, 1 assist on the season so far. Here's Wilson Harris. Nothing to come of it. Sky-high ball out of the back by the battery back line. Camden Riley on the chase. Bourgeois cuts off the back pass.
And that's where Riley needs to work on his game. You know, he drew that pressure there, didn't he? He got into it. He could have offloaded it to his goal. He could have played it in. He dwelled a little bit longer, and Piggott done a real good job of tying him up. He was lucky to come away with a throw in there.
Battery pin them in the corner. Loose one, Higashi picks it up. They're trying to win it back, but a ball into the attack, threaded through. Leland Archer, the man on the end of it. Fans, who's up, who's down, where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings, only on USLChampionship.com.
The battery at their best when they move the ball quickly round the back. You know, they've got play rounds, or they play from, you know, Jared Van Schaik all the way over to Taylor Mueller and stuff. And when they do it, and even when they do it through midfield, through Tar Bryan and Candela, that's when they're at the best. They can spread teams around. And then when they do get in, they've got players like Higashi and Piggott normally that can go on and drive in. But they haven't done it as well this second half yet. They did it very well in the first half. They just need to pick it up a little bit and move it a little bit quicker around the midfield.
Battery with a full bench down below available for selection. Swope Park, on the other hand, just 3 substitutes available tonight. Like we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, one of the difficulties of being an MLS affiliate, of course, they get the first pick, and with them playing Columbus Crew tomorrow, limited options for Paulo Nagamura.
I'm sure if you're one of those players, you know that you've got a good chance of getting some minutes tonight, so I'm sure it works both ways.
Keeley toying outside the box. Mueller stepping in there. Both players doing well. Down below us, they're throwing for the battery.
For these young players, you know, when you come up against someone like Taylor Mueller, that's been around this league for a long time, and he's very experienced, and you know, it really gives you a test of what's going on.
Brilliant knock on from Romario Piggott. Higashi almost caught at his steps, but Bourgeois steps through. Offside, Nico Rittmeyer. A fantastic passage, though.
Yeah, Nico Rittmeyer just had to run a little bit wider. Then he ran forward. If he'd have run wider, he would have stayed on side, and he would have been in for a good chance. But Bourgeois saw it early, didn't he? You could see he saw that pass very, very quickly.
And Riley been busy on the ball so far tonight. Nothing to come of the long ball forward.
He looks accomplished. He looks confident on the ball. I mean, that one was a bit of a loose one there, but you can see he's definitely, you know, he's earned his contract being a defender, and he'll have to add that playing out from the back to his overall game if he's going to have a long career. That's what I'm talking about there. So this is a slow ball across. I think they need to move it a little bit quicker.
6 players on the battery front line. They were waiting for the direct ball. Arthur Bourgeois, the one to chase. Zende has no worries at the back.
Yeah, just too straight again.
This time Rittmeyer takes it from his feet at the top of the box. Still Rittmeyer. Loose touch at the last moment. And Alexander to the rescue.
I think now Rittmeyer's got to look to be more positive again. You know, he should look for maybe a shot, or you get a corner rather than just keep running it across.
Good step from Archer into the middle of the park. Anunga.
There's a good example there, moving the ball quickly, getting it wide, letting their players run with it.
Tara Higashi finds half a yard across the middle of the park, gives it away, looking for Piggott. And here we go at the other end of the park. Candela. Options that surround him.
Sloppy loose one by, I think is it Rittmeyer there again.
Candela just caught in the mix there. 55 minutes is in the books from Charleston, South Carolina. Thank you for joining us for tonight's match, wherever you are. Let's have another look at this, Derek.
Yeah, no, Candela just dangles his foot there, doesn't he? I think it's more the trailing leg than the first one. Again, I think the referee's got that one right.
Good combination with Alexander, who connects into the attack. Hernandez not on the run, though. Battery looking to pick up the tempo, taken quickly. Angelo Kelly on this near side.
It's just got a little bit scrappy, the game, isn't it? There's a few loose passes, and there's no real need for that now. You know, the players have definitely come to terms with the game. They know they're involved in the game, and you start to expect a little bit of quality to come through now.
Arthur Bourgeois, he's onside. Not many options on, but he'll chip one to the back post. Rittmeyer's there, but knocked away by Segbers at the very last second. Fantastic defending from the outside back.
Yeah, quick thinking by Kelly, got Bourgeois in. Bourgeois, he had to delay his cross because there was no support up there.
Here comes Vincenzo Candela. Another corner awaits. Can they capitalise on this one? Numbers and height is in the box. The visitors not taking any chances. Everyone back behind the ball. It's a deeper ball in. Leland Archer on the end of it. And Mueller keeps it in.
I think right now this game needs a goal. I think a goal either way would really open the game up right now. As I said, I think it's coming to that sort of 60th minute. You can see all the Battery subs are getting up now, so that's a little indicator to the players on the field. Hey, pick it up a little bit. I'll come on and take your spot. That's a great ball.
Mueller puts it on a dime for Bourgeois. Piggott was there, and he couldn't get it out of his feet. Offside anyway, calls the referee. Another brilliant opportunity.
Yeah, that was a great pass there by Taylor Mueller. And I don't know if it was Bourgeois. We're interested to see if we get the replay here. But it was Bourgeois that actually got in, because I think it was actually was it Leyland Archer? Yeah, who was offside there. But you know, the he is involved in the play. But I'm certainly sure it wasn't Bourgeois. He made a very intelligent run there. The goalie's just took one there, isn't he? So here we go again. Look, he's just rolled in. Yeah, I think it's Archer that's and again, you know, I don't think Bourgeois has done anything wrong there, and the referee definitely hasn't given a free kick. He's given the offside. But the goalkeeper again, he's already been booked once, and as I said, he's put himself on a tightrope now.
Zendejas, the SKC loanee, 6'5", big presence out in the back. Over 40 appearances, like we mentioned in the first half, for this affiliate side. Takes his time out of the back. He's taking the sting out of the match.
Yeah, and I think that he's on. It's a dangerous road to go on now, because he's had that silly booking, and that may come back to haunt him.
Taylor Mueller pops one forward. Bourgeois putting Camden Riley under a bit of pressure.
He's done well again there, isn't he, Riley?
Late challenge in the middle. This could be trouble.
The referee's going to keep it, saying it's going to be a yellow card. It was a very dangerous challenge, particularly with the conditions. But yeah, yellow card. The referee's used his common sense there. You don't ever want to see a kid get hurt, and you don't want to see players get sent off. Shouldn't moan, young man. He should just walk away. It was a reckless challenge. You know, you can see now that he's lost control of the ball here, and he's fully committed, and that's a two-footed challenge. You know, maybe the referee's giving him the benefit of the doubt there, but certainly two-footed. That's a dangerous challenge to have on another professional player.
Ngom and Bekele in the books. And an opportunity now for Mike Anhauser's side. Brian Anunga, the man over the dead ball. Again, opt to go short.
That's okay if they move it quickly. There's another example. Rick Myers got plenty of room behind him. He can run.
Good whip ball. Too much sauce on it for Angelo Kelly.
I think, as I said, Nico Rittmeyer there's got room to go on the outside. He doesn't always do it. And as I said, we're getting to that stage now, that 60-minute mark where, and I think the game does. I think one of the coaches is going to have to go into their pack and pull out a card that's hopefully going to change the direction of this game.
Good feet from Zendejas. It's his 6th start tonight, like we mentioned. An ever-changing lineup for this side makes it difficult to get that consistency. Something that you see a lot with these two sides, though. Yeah, no, you can see the Battery have got definitely consistency in terms of playing personnel, but certainly in terms of formation and strategy. Wilson Harris can't find the last ball into the attack. Here's Piggott. Higashi, he manages to turn on it. Bourgeois is on the run. Nothing to come of it. Looking out the other way there. Bekele outnumbered on this near side. Actually takes a touch of it himself. Higashi keeps the tempo high. The word you use there is tempo now. The Battery definitely need to pick up the tempo, move the ball a bit quicker, move it through the thirds, and see if they can get that, you know, all-important golden chance that's going to, you know, get them in front. And I think if they could get in front, I think it would be a tough comeback. Van Schaik for Higashi, it falls all the way through. It's got to be for Piggott. There it is, the opening goal for Mike Anhauser's side, and it's Romario Piggott with his 2nd goal for the black and yellow in his rookie season. No, he hasn't really deserved it tonight. It's actually done very well for him. It's got him into the game. Very fortunate the way it come through. I think it missed, a couple of players missed it. We'll see it again here. Jared Van Schaik, I think, it's a great dangerous ball there. And the boy Riley we've been talking about, and then Piggott's just come in at the end. Very fortunate comes in, but to be fair, he's done everything right. He's hit the target, kept his head over the ball, and he's just side-footed it in. So he's very fortunate to get there, but when you get those chances, you have to take them. So well done for him. Romario Piggott scored in the last USL Championship match at home against Birmingham Legion, and he opens the scoring here tonight against Swope Park. And Derek, you've been saying all game that this game needs a goal. Now it's got that goal. How do you think it'll change the match tempo-wise? Well, I think now Swope Park have got to come out a little bit if they want to get anything from the game. You know, young players, they're going to have to chase the game, and I think that will help the Battery. I think it'll open up a few areas for them. And I could definitely see them going on scoring 2 or 3 goals here now if Swope Park decide to try and win the game. Angelo Kelly knocks it into Piggott. Creates a bit of space for himself, can't find feet out wide. So now the next 5-10 minutes is going to depend on what Swope Park decide to do. Here they come at the other end of the park. Wilson Harris takes the strike, it falls all the way through the back. This could be dangerous. And Angelo Kelly at the very last second to keep it out for his side. Yeah, and that was a chance. I mean, Angelo Kelly's recovered well. Joe Kuzminski's made his first real contribution to the game from a defensive aspect. Here it is here, it comes across. Ball comes in, it's a great touch out. Maybe could have hit it first time and just took a gamble. But great recovery from Angelo Kelly. Brilliant ball in towards the back post. Gets a knock on it. That'll be a goal kick for Kuzminski. Looks like a couple of changes down below getting ready to come into the match. Banacor Decker, one of them. Yeah, it was always going to happen, wasn't it? You know, once the goal comes in and, now we're going to change the game. So there's a couple of changes that looks like it's going to happen. Alak, the other two attacking changes for Swope Park. And out comes Wilson Harris for Decker. And the other one being Akhmatov for Alak. Alak, just 21 years old, makes his 9th appearance for this side this season. Spent last year playing overseas in his native Belgium. He's actually represented Morocco internationally. The one Decker who will take the top spot and lead the charge in the attack.
I think they're always going to make that change, just to as I said, just because of the nature of the game. I think when it wasn't broken, don't fix it. Now that the goal's gone in, they're going to have to open up a little bit, and I think the Battery are going to make a change as well.
Here comes that change. It's Dante Marini. Another attacking change. This time for the black and yellow, it's the goal scorer, Romario Piga, to make his way off. Now has 2 goals under his belt for the black and yellow, and on comes Dante Marini, who's proven himself to be a bit of a super sub this season so far.
Yeah, no, he's come on very well and done well and scored some vital goals, isn't he? He's certainly in the home games, and he's a fan's favourite, isn't he, Dante? And I think eventually we'll see him swap with Nico Rittmeyer. Here's a chance.
It's Hernandez. He tried to rip one from distance. Alak, a big presence coming forward.
He seems to be a holding midfield player that wants to get on the ball. Look, there he is. He's very creative on the ball, wants to get it and move it. Maybe he'll give them a chance to get a good foothold in this game.
Alexander. Wide for Mbakeli. Touch on it, knocks it into possession for the Battery. A loose ball though. This could be a chance for Decker, and a brilliant save by Kuzminski.
That was a loose touch by Nico Rittmeyer. Now they're going to swap over. Look, I think that was what the coach Anheuser wanted to happen naturally. Nico being a more right-footed player and Dante being a left footer. Well, there's a loose one by Joe Kuzminski there. So the substitutions have sort of unsettled the Battery a little bit. They've just taken time to come to terms with the changes. And the changes have certainly been a lift for the Swope Park team.
Alexander, the Brazilian. 5 assists, 1 goal on the season so far. Hasn't really had the chance to get into the attack today, though, so far.
No, I mean, the 2 chances they've had have been from mistakes from Battery, really. As I said, I've been impressed with them defensively. Offensively, you can see why they're struggling to score lots of goals, and probably why they're down the bottom of the league a little bit. They've got some very talented young players, a lot of exciting players, but in terms of creating chances and putting teams under pressure, they haven't quite done that tonight.
They have 17 goals on the season so far, but conceded 31. Like we said, winless on the road, just 1 win on the season so far. And at this point in the season, as you're approaching the midway point, it's difficult for morale and mentality with just that lone win.
Yeah, especially when you go a goal down, especially with young players. Oh, that's a foul. So, yeah, with young players, when they come in, it's very hard to, especially against a team like the Battery, as I said, when you come to MUSC Health Stadium, you know that they've got a great record, and, better teams have come here and struggled to get a result. And, as I said, when you're a young team, you go a goal down, it's very, very tough.
Mueller. Time and space. Direct ball, Bourgeois. Still fuel in the tank.
I think that's part of the one aspect of the game tonight. Taylor Mew's hit that ball back 2 or 3 times without any real success. The one he threaded through was a real good chance. So maybe they've got to look at that again and reevaluate how they're going to play into this team. But since the goal, you have to say Swope Park have probably picked it up. Battery maybe have settled back a little bit, just maybe taking a breather and finding their feet for this last sort of 20 minutes. But at 1-0, they don't want to take too many chances. And as I said, I think, pressing forward, trying to get that second goal would be a much better tactic than just sitting back right now.
Like we mentioned at half-time, a tough stretch awaits the Battery as well, heading to Canada on Wednesday night. to take on Ottawa Fury, who sit just above the Battery in the Eastern Conference. And then returning back home to take on New York Red Bulls too, which I'm sure is gearing up to be a very fiery match here at MUSC Health Stadium. Loose touch from Marini gets him in trouble on the far side.
I think you could hear his scream from here. I didn't touch him, you know, and we'll see if he did. Let's have a look. He says he didn't touch him. Well, he just caught his trailing leg, so claim of innocence there by Donze, which is unusual by him.
Hernandez takes a touch inside.
To be fair, they've kept Hernandez way out of there. You know, he's normally lethal in and around the box, but they've kept him sort of 25, 30 yards out.
Alexander with the delivery, a dangerous header across the box. Maybe an opportunity as it falls out wide for Segbers, who takes the strike, it takes a knock. The referee's blown his whistle though, despite it finding its way to the back of the net.
Yeah, and as I said, the substitutions have really affected the Battery negatively. You know, it's the Swope Park team that's definitely picked up the tempo. And there's Taylor Mueller now just trying to direct his team and get a little bit of stability now. You know, we're entering this final 20 minutes. You know, the Battery have certainly got something to hold on to. And Swope Park, last 5 minutes, you know, that was a chance. It ended up in a goal, but the referee quite clearly saw a handball and marked it offside.
Looks like Ian Svantesson, the leading goal scorer, is getting his jersey on down below. Issues his ticket into the assistant referee.
I think because it's a head injury, the referee's insisting that the trainer come on and see him.
Bobby Weisenberger of MUSC Health, been with the club 10 years now. Always taking brilliant care of the players, and here's the substitution. Anyway, it's Ian Svantesson making his way on. Arthur Bourgeois makes his way off. That's the end of his night, but another night where he's worked tirelessly.
No, he's really impressing me, this young man. He works hard. As I said, he's not just a big striker. He likes to get it into his feet. He can link up the game. His work rate is very, very impressive. And, you know, he's getting the rewards in his first year as a professional footballer.
One of the many over the years that's come through the Open Trials. Mike Anhauser and his staff have signed someone from the Open Trials every year since 2002. And you've got to say a large majority of those have had an immediate impact on the season following their Open Trials.
Mike Anhauser does a great job, doesn't he, selecting talent and then developing talent. You know, that's, you know, I'm sure that's why he's been around this league for such a long time. And, you know, it's not luck. You know, you have to pick something in. You know, his training's very regimented.
Here's Svantesson now looking to get involved in the match.
And Swanson's won now. He'll want to, you know, he's been on a good run of form since he's come back. He's been a bit come off the bench, start, come, and then come out of a game. But, you know, his goal tally's certainly improved. And I'm sure he wants to get more goals. And this is a game I'm sure he's come into where he can think, I can get some more goals here.
Good run from Archer to generate the attack. Marini. Touch inside, outnumbered though, it'll fall for Higashi, who leads Svantesson on. It's Svantesson! Can't quite get the strike away effectively.
It was quite wide, wasn't it? He did well to take it with his left foot. He's confident. I mean, he's got two good feet, Ian Svantesson. It was a good chance. It was going a little bit away from goal. The angle was getting tighter and tighter. When Higashi rolled him in here, you'll see this now that he just rolls him very early. So he's got a long time to see where it's going, and he's just scuffed it a little bit trying to roll it across.
Svantesson, the 6'6" striker, 4 goals on the year so far. Here's Mbakeli. Nunga comes out on top. Rittmeyer plays it back into danger. Traffic at the top of the box, and they can't get through the captain.
Very calm play there by Mueller there, excellent play.
Hernandez takes a strike from distance. Kosminski forced to make the save. Well, we mentioned him in the pre-game. It was actually Juan Kazane that took that striker phenomenal effort.
It was dipping, and Kuzminsky's done really well just to get it out of danger and get it out for a throw-in.
Kazane, the MLS loanee, saw an opportunity and absolutely took it. And now Van Schaik.
The Battery just not playing and moving the ball quick enough. They're just causing themselves some problems here. Now here's Nico Rittmeyer. He's got a chance to really run at them now, look.
Acres of space down the flank for Rittmeyer. Whips one across the box. Too close to Zendejas, who plays it out quickly to the substitute. Halak. Hernandez.
Great defending there, great cover there by Anunga there again. You know, he sees Angelo Kelly coming out of position, and he just naturally covers in. He does it so well.
Swope Park starting to pick up a bit of momentum now. The referee will bring it back though once again. Fran's unhappy with the positioning of the throw.
3 times it was taken there. That's very unusual.
Good step from Kelly. Higashi works it out with Rittmeyer.
It's just got a little bit scrap. I mean, the scrappiness of the Battery has brought Swope Park back into it right now. You know, they look very much in command. They got their goal, and since the goal, it's been a little bit scrappy. You know, the substitutions haven't helped, I don't think. And, you know, it's going to take, hopefully they can sort of settle it down for this last 15 minutes and play out. As I said, I think right now they need that second goal. You know, Swope Park are definitely in this game. They're going to make their final substitution. And as I said, it will be interesting to see, you know, what impact that has on the final 15 minutes of this game.
Still 15 minutes left to go from Charleston, South Carolina. Poppy Miller alongside Derek Brawley. Thank you for joining us for tonight's match. Dante Marini down to ground on the far side.
He took a tumble there. I think, again, it was good play by him. He won the ball, drove across his defender, and whose feet just tangled up, and he took a bit of a tumble. Lucky enough, he's small enough, he didn't have far to fall.
5'6" Dante Marini. And here comes the final substitution. Colombi gets ready to make his way onto the pitch, and Will Little, the man to come out. Someone that you know, Derek. Will Little there. What did you make of his performance tonight?
Yeah, you can see he's got ability, can't you? But I think he just struggled tonight to make a real impact. He's a very forward-thinking player. He's very creative, and he just quite hasn't, you know, been able to get into the game and make an impact. But you can definitely see he's got ability, and as he grows in the game, and the more games he gets, he'll grow and improve, I'm sure.
Here's the Frenchman. The Frenchman showing his fresh legs.
Again, great recovery again by Anunga. His support play here has been fantastic tonight. Again, he covers a lot of ground. He does a lot of, you know, he plays the game very simply. He makes it look easy sometimes.
Svanteson up in the attack. Nice led it straight to the feet of Marini. Ian Svanteson superb in the air. 6'6", difficult for any centre-back to deal with that height.
Yeah, he's starting to really understand how to use his body to win headers and to protect the ball and stuff, and he's got much better at it this year. He struggled a little bit last year at times, but he's coming to terms with the way that the Battery play, and as I said, I'm sure he's a threat, and hopefully his goal tally will continue to grow.
Kelly dropping back a few yards. I'll get it to Svanteson. Here's Hernandez. Kazane.
Highlighted Hernandez. He's a good player, but he hasn't really had a chance to really impact the game in the final third, has he? You know, he had a couple of times where he could have shot, but the Battery have done a great job at keeping him 25, 30 yards away from the goal, and sort of nullified his threat.
Swope Park now taking an opportunity around the back. It's Camden Riley that opts to go long. Mueller's there. And here's Dante Marini. Higashi held up in his tracks, forced to go back to Candela, who switches the flank. It's a good touch in the end from Kelly. Rittmeyer lays it off. Angelo Kelly once more. Chipped across the box. Marini was there, but not before Zendejas. Paulo Nagamura down below telling them to pick up the speed on the transition. Hernandez.
Swanson back there, look, you know, big strikers, you know, he saw that Higashi was out of position, he's tucked back in. And that's a big feature of the Battery. When they do lose the ball, their work rate to get back into a good defensive shape is fantastic. And a big reason why they don't concede many goals at home.
Alexander. Back to Riley, across to Smith, all the way through to Segbers. 80 minutes in the books from Charleston, South Carolina. 10 to go here. 1-0 the score if you're just joining us. Romario Piggott the difference in the match so far. Numbers in the box. Just arriving a bit too late as it falls to the top. Alak. Step is there from Anunga Hernandez. Just to return to where it came from. The Battery doing a nice job of pushing them back.
Yeah, Swope Park have done a good job, and they've clawed their way back into the game in terms of possession. There's a loose one there by Riley, showing his inexperience.
Here's Rittmeyer.
They've done a very good job to get back. As I said, since the goal, you'd have to say that they've sort of got back in. It's been a very even game since the goal.
Dante Marini for Svantersson. Svantersson's there, he keeps it in. Knocks it back to Rittmeyer. Numbers flood the box for the visitors, and nothing to come of it as Zendejas swoops it up.
We spoke about the Battery schedule. You can see a couple of players now just look a little bit heavy-legged now. You know, they've played a lot of games in the last couple of weeks, and more importantly, done a lot of travelling. And I don't think people appreciate how much travelling some of these teams do.
Colombi, the substitute, comes rolling forward. Hernandez takes a touch outside at the top of the box. He's dangerous from there. What a fantastic finish. Felipe Hernandez equalises the scoring for the visitors.
And that's probably the first time he's got within 20, 25 yards, and it's a great strike, isn't it? He's bent in that back. We had a great view of it, didn't we? And I'm sure Joe Kuzminski will be absolutely furious with his defenders, but he's cutting in now, look. He's just head up, look, he's just trying to whip it in on the far post, and it's really, the surface has brought it in, it's curling, it's a great goal. And, you know, I was talking about him earlier, they've kept him out so far most of the game, and the one time he gets in, that's why he's such a top player.
Well, we talked about how dangerous he can be, especially from the top of the box. He executed that strike with pure perfection. And now what a match we've got on our hands for just over 7 minutes left to go here.
It's definitely a game worth winning now, isn't it? Definitely, you know, if you Swope Park now, you know, you've got the tail between, you had your tail between your legs. Now it's been, been pulled out. You want to have a go, and I'm sure, you know, if it's not too long, we'll see Nikki Daly now come in for those last minutes, and that'll be the last throw of the dice to see if he can come up with some magic to try and win this game.
You're absolutely right. The 18-year-old, you mentioned him, perfect conditions tonight for the youngster that loves a one-on-one opportunity. And you're absolutely right, Derek, as he puts his shirt on down below. And he's been known to change the game as a substitute.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get on a little bit earlier, but you know what? It only takes a second to score a goal, and I'm sure he'll be relishing getting on.
Here comes Swope Park on the attack once more. Leland Archer manages to pick up the second just about with the help of Anunga. A nail-biting moment for the home side. Just a bit lackadaisical out of the back, but here's Marini in some space. A brilliant ball out wide to Svantersson. Can Svantersson finish? Can't quite get a clean strike on it. Maybe one too many touches in the attack.
Yeah, great ball by Dante Marini, wasn't it? Great in, and Ian Swanson was in a great position. I think he'd done the first bit right. He cut in, he just couldn't get his shot off. So, but brilliantly played by Dante Marini. And again, that was a Nunga again that broke out again. He's been excellent tonight, just breaking things up, and resetting up the target, resetting up the attack for his team.
Hugh Daly waiting to come on below for Mike Anhauser's change. Paulo Nagamura down below, willing on his side. You've got to say, I've definitely got a spring in their step now with that equaliser.
No, and they'll be absolutely, chuffed for getting a point from this game. I mean, as I said, they haven't had too many clear-cut chances. As I said, they've actually got better since they went a goal down. And they've come into the game now, and as I said, with Hernandez, they kept him at bay for last part of the game, but what an excellent goal he scored tonight.
They're trying to step a bit higher to lead the team. Space out wide. Zegbers in towards the top of the box because Minsky forced to come out to the back. Minsky looking at his options. Daly still down below, waiting to come on to finish out the game. Minsky falls all the way back for Camden Riley. This fella centre back Smith. Maybe some tired legs creeping in now in this difficult surface. A lot of rain, of course, a couple of lightning delays as well. But heavy rain in Charleston, you've got to say, for the past couple of weeks, it takes a toll on your legs.
No, and yeah, this field is normally immaculate, and it's just showing signs of the weather, and it's it's very hard to fight Mother Nature, isn't it? And it's as flat as it can be, but there's some bare patches there that, as I said, it's made it hard for the players, and yeah, this will take its toll.
Hernandez over the top, Archer there with the pressure, and a Cordeca, the substitute up top. Back to Alexander. A good delivery from Alexander, and nicely done by Jared Van Schaik, the veteran.
Yeah, no, very calm and collected there, wasn't it? And Nicky Daly's chomping at the bit to get in. The ball hasn't gone out. There hasn't been a stoppage. And I'm sure Mike Anhauser would love to get him on for at least 5 or 6 minutes just to see what he can do.
Hernandez. Brings it back to Alak.
It's one of those situations where Nicky Daly might not even be able to get on. In other sports, you'd use your time out, wouldn't you? You'd get it in, but soccer's not one of those sports. Oh, there we go, they got lucky.
Here he is, Nicky Daly, the 18-year-old Jamaican, ready to make his way in. Only 3 minutes left on tonight's match for him to try and be the difference. Kotaro Higashi makes his way out, and what a shift the Japanese veterans put in tonight.
No, he's been very good. As I said, the first half he was very influential. He drifted out a little bit towards the second half, but he's definitely an influential player.
Here he is now, Nicky Daly looking to get on the ball early. Cordeca lays it to the top of the box. Hussein. Hernandez now combines with Alexander. Battery desperate to get it up into the feet of the substitute in the attack. Alak. Van Schaik provides it. Here he is, Nicky Daly. He is dangerous. He's picking up some speed. Can he take the ball with him? Yes, he can. He comes steaming into the box. Still Nicky Daly. And it's going to be a free kick for the visitors. Well, Derek, that's just an absolute glimpse of what this youngster is capable of. I think everybody in the stadium knows exactly what he can do on your edge of your seat when he gets the ball in the attack.
Yeah, especially when he gets one-on-one, he can roll defenders, and then, once he's got green grass in front of him, he's happy to run into it and take players on. He knows where the goal is. He's always looking to see where that is, and as I said, you can just see he's only been on a minute and he's had a real good chance. If he gets another one, you can definitely see there's goals in this boy's game.
Archer. Forced back to Kuzminski. Kuzminski's distribution out the back just a bit uncharacteristic from him this second half.
Now it's going to be dependent on what the referee adds on now. There's been 6 substitutions, so normally the sort of standard is 3 minutes. Let's see, there's not been too many trainer activity on the field, so let's see what the referee says. There was a double substitution, so who knows, maybe we'll get the 3 minutes.
Felipe Hernandez.
He's had an influence, hasn't he, the last 10 minutes. Hernandez, since his goal, he's really sort of dictated the play. And Alak as well has had a really good game since he's come on.
Alexander as well getting involved more in the mix. Here he is now with the delivery. Mueller straight out of the back. And a good delivery towards the back post. Van Schaik there with the pressure. Segbers drops it in again. Here could be a chance. What an opportunity. Nobody home at the back post in time. And the Battery, Derek, get away with one.
Yeah, no, they're hanging on right now. As I said, we've got +3 now. So as I said, we've got the standard 3 minutes now. Since the goal. Here it is again. Yeah, he's getting in. It's a great opportunity, that is.
Here's Naku Daly exploiting his speed straight through the back line, and a sliding challenge from Smith. The MLS low need to keep him out. 3 minutes of added time. You can see the confirmation of that on your screen there. And right now, the Battery on the front foot.
And we'll get a chance to pick our man of the match at some point. It's never come through. I mean, for me, I'm going to say now, I think Brian Anunga is going to get it from, I think he's led the team very well defensively. He's the one I was going to give it to. I think he's a bit of an unsung hero. He's worked tirelessly. His recovery run's great. There's been some good performances, but to me, he's been the standout for this game.
Brian Anunga, the Heineken man of the match for tonight's game. Vincenzo Candola, big ball to the back post, falls all the way out. Marini, the substitute, here he comes. You can hear a shout there, but he'll leave it for Angelo Kelly. Just a minute and a half left to go. Like you said, Derek, though, only takes a second to score a goal. Here's Anunga.
Yeah, no. And I say that, I think the Battery were in full control. I think they scored the goal. They were very comfortable. And then since the goal, I think you have to hand it to this young Swope Park team. They've really come into the game. It was a fantastic goal that they scored, but they've sort of, I think, I don't know if it was a case of the Battery sitting back or that they forced them back. And they've played their way back into the game. And it looks like they're going to get away with a draw here, which they'll be very, very pleased with. I think the Battery will be very disappointed that they got themselves in front. And then from there, they've let it slip.
It'll be an absolute massive result for Swope Park if the scoreline remains the same. Still time on the clock, though, for either side. Lombi. Back to Alexander. Svanterson keeps him out on this occasion. Camden Riley launches it into the attack, switches flanks. Not to get past Jared Van Schaik, though. And Anunga nods it on its way. And that's a dangerous one there. Svanterson, maybe a high boot. This could be trouble. A red card for Ian Svanterson in the dying seconds of the match. And now, Derek, you just hope that tensions don't rise.
No, it's a silly challenge, but I'll tell you what, the goalkeeper again there's come in. The goalkeeper's come in and caused the problem there. The referee's got to get a grip of this. And if the referee really does his job right now, the goalkeeper, he should get a second yellow. I think he's going to let, there you go. There you go. The referee's done very well there.
2 red cards in the dying moments of the match. Then Dejas with the second. That's Svanterson and Adrian Sendejas off. And I think the referee absolutely spot on there. That is going to be the end of the match. Theatrics in the dying seconds. And Derek, it looks like that isn't going to be all the drama that we see as players flooding Matt Franz, who you've got to say has kept his cool very well tonight.
Yeah, no, the referee, it's a shame that the game's ending like this because it actually wasn't that bad a game. The goalie's got, I mean, he's got himself, he got a silly yellow card in there. And then I think that there's a little bit of animosity going on now. And I think what the players need to do now is they need to get off the field and get in the changing room and get away with it.
Zendeja still down below us, desperate for more. Do you know what? He just needs to get on the pitch. Let's take a look at tonight's highlights while the drama unfolds down below us on tonight's pitch. Derek, we'll start from the very beginning.
Yeah, here's Riley's header in the first half. It was a really good situation. Then Bourgeois had a really couple of good chances. There was one from him, one from Higashi. Look, this was one that just went past the post. Then we come into the second half, and I think here's the battery. Got a great ball in. A little bit misfortune there by Riley, but it falls to Piggott, who finishes it nice and calmly. Puts the battery in front, and then from there, that's where it all started to get silly. Okay, and then we get there was a great save here by Joe Kuzminski that came across to the far post. And once they scored, it was then that really where Swope Park got back into it. There was another chance here for Swanson on his left foot where he just hit it across the goalkeeper. And then finally we get the goal, you know, where it was Hernandez. He cuts back in. It's a great shot. He uses the whip of the field and scores and makes it 1-1. And then from then on, as I said, the game sort of finished poorly, really, from both teams. It's not good for fans to see that. And as I said, the referees had to really, I think he done a sensible thing, bring it to them because it was starting to get silly.
Starting to get scrappy indeed. 2 red cards in the dying seconds of the match. It looks like the situation is diffused down there below. Thank you so much for sticking with us for tonight's match. The final score, Charleston Battery 1, Swope Park Rangers 1. On behalf of Poppy Miller, Derek Brawley, the entire broadcast crew here in Charleston, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.